In the past, publishing meant delivering your publication to a production company and having it printed and bound. The world has changed a lot since then, and we have infinitely more options. With fast, high-resolution printers, publishing a publication can be as easy as sending it to your printer and binding it by hand. Many office supply stores sell saddle staplers and comb binders. Saddle staplers allow you to fold the pages and staple them in the middle, just like a magazine. Comb binders don't require any folding. The comb binding machine produces a series of oblong holes on one edge of the paper and then rolls a plastic comb binder into it to hold the pages together. Many companies use these methods to print manuals and presentations that are going to be used within the company. The term publishing has also expanded to include electronic methods of delivery. For instance, an email flyer, web advertisements, and ebooks. In many cases, you'll probably want to publish the same publication in a variety of different formats. In this lesson, we'll introduce you to the tools Publisher provides that make doing this easy and intuitive. So first, let's talk about sharing your publication. Publisher 2013 gives you various ways to share your publications. Let's talk about these different ways by going to the Backstage area via the File tab. And here on the left, click on Share. And this is the screen that you'll see. As you can see, you immediately have two ways to share. You can share via email as an attachment, or as an email preview. We're going to choose email. When you choose to send as email, you can do it one of four ways. You can embed the publication in the body of an email, and to see it, someone will have to be able to view HTML in emails. You can send the current publication as an attachment. You can send it as a PDF attachment. Or you can send it as an XPS file. PDF and XPS formats are basically electronic representations of your physical publication. They were designed to exactly replicate it across different computer platforms. When created correctly, the publication that you send to your printer is identical to the publication your boss views on his computer. We're going to choose to send it as a PDF attachment, so we'll click that button. And as you can see here, our publication has now been added as an email attachment. Now we're going to go over publishing to the web. One of the great features of Publisher is that you don't necessarily have to know HTML to create an attractive web page. Instead, it converts your publication to HTML for you. All you have to do is design it. To use this feature, go to the File tab, select Export, and then pick Publish HTML. By default, it's automatically set to publish as a web page. However, if you click the downward arrow, you can see your other options. Publisher can handle HTML content in one of two ways. As a web page, HTML, which is pretty much how most HTML publications are published to the web, and this method creates the basic HTML file with location information for all the objects on the page, but the objects themselves are placed into a supporting file folder. The second method creates a single file web page, or MHTML, in which all of the objects and images are embedded on the page and no supporting file folder is created. Then click the Publish HTML button. You can see here that your publication now becomes the index page or home page of a website. Choose your location to save the web page to and click Save. Now let's talk about Pack and Go. The Pack and Go section is where you go when you're completely finished with the publication and want to send it to a commercial printer. Here you'll get to select how big a file to create, and the largest file, of course, equals the highest quality, and whether to create a .pub file format, a PDF file format, or both. The Pack and Go options can be found on the File tab in the Export section. Click Save for a commercial printer. To specify the file size and quality of the file, click on Commercial Press, and you'll see these options. As you can see, Publisher gives a brief explanation for each option. If you're in doubt about which option to choose, check with your commercial printer. If you choose Custom, Publisher allows you to tweak the settings and get the best compromise between file size and publication quality. Now let's look at this setting here below Commercial Press. Here we can have Publisher create a PDF file and a Publisher file, or just a PDF or Publisher file. Check with your commercial printer to see which files to send. Offset printing plates are typically made with PDF, but the printer may want the Publisher files .pub to make small color corrections or something of that nature. When you're satisfied with your settings, click the Pack and Go Wizard button. When you click that button, you'll be asked where you want the files to be sent. You can decide to burn the files to a disk, and a blank disk will need to be inserted into the disk drive. Or you can copy to a removable storage drive, such as a flash-based thumb drive. Or you can copy to a floppy disk if your computer has a floppy disk drive. Most of you probably don't, as that technology is phasing out. Or you can choose to save it to some other place on your computer. Select your location and then click Next. Depending on the size of the file, Publisher might have to work for a moment or two, and then it'll tell you that the process is complete. You can also use the Pack and Go Wizard to save files for another computer. The screens you'll see are slightly different than when you send a file to a commercial printer. Let's try it out and discuss the differences. So again, you'll go to File and then Export, and then choose Save for another computer. Click the Pack and Go Wizard button, and you'll first see this screen. It basically tells you what the wizard will do. Click Next. The next screen is identical to the one we saw when saving files for a commercial printer. Select a location and then click Next. Here you can choose to include fonts and graphics. Make your selections and then click Next. The next screen is simply informational. Click Finish to compress and save your publication. You can also save your publications as images for photo printing. You'll find this again under the File tab and under Export, and select Save for photo printing. As you can see here, you can either save your publication as JPEG or TIFF. So choose what you want, and then click the Save Image Set button. Select a location to save it to, and then choose Select Folder. Now let's talk about actually printing and your print options. Printing a publication in Microsoft Publisher 2013 is easy. Click on the File tab and then click Print. Publisher will generate a preview for you. Select your printer in the Printer section and then specify if you want to print all pages. If you just want to print one page, then enter the page numbers in the Pages text box. You can also decide on the size of paper to print on and if you want to print on one side or two. Next, you can decide if you want to print composite RGB or composite grayscale. This has to do with the colors you use to print. Choose RGB to print in color or grayscale to print in black and white. On the right side, you'll see your print preview. If you want to preview a different page or zoom in or out to make the preview larger or smaller, you can do that here at the bottom of the print preview. You would click this button to fit the page to a sheet of paper, or this button to view multiple sheets in the page preview window. And you'll also see this slider here. You can use this to make your publication preview larger or smaller. And you can use this slider here to make page numbers appear on the preview. The more you slide it to the right, the darker the number becomes. And you can use this button to show or hide the ruler. And as you can see, we now have the ruler displayed. And when you're done, click the Print button.